Okay, so let us look at what ancient texts have to say. I think I completely agree with all of you. All of you were spot on. It is mainly the distressed emotions which come from ignorance. That is what we understand from yoga philosophy also. Patanjali, what does Patanjali say? This is very beautiful sutra. Klesha mulaha karmashayo. Drishta adrishta janma vedaniyaha. What is Patanjali saying? Patanjali is saying that the main cause, the root is klesha, which becomes the reservoir of the karma. When karma are done, colored by the klesha, then that processing of the karma with kleshas leads to all the experiences that an individual goes through in life, which are right now manifested or which are going to manifest in future. So there is a way of doing a karma without coloring it with klesha. But whenever a karma is done, when it is colored by klesha, okay, then that forms the very basis of all the experiences now or that are going to come in future. In that, the illness also comes as one of the experience. Then he says, Sati mule tad vipako jati ayur bhogaha. Till the root, that is the klesha, will remain. Karma will keep getting processed and it will lead to jati. It means birth in different kind of lives or with different kind of body, like animal body or human body or other kind of creatures, trees, plants, anything, births. It will also decide in each birth how much lifespan you are going to have, ayu. And then within that birth, what kind of situations and experiences are going to come to me. So till kleshas are there, and with those klesha forming the base in my mind, coloring all my actions with those emotions, I will never be free from suffering. So what are these kleshas? Kleshas are 5. Number 1. So the root cause is klesha and the root of the kleshas is avidya. What does avidya mean? It is a fundamental error or ignorance, what Gautam was saying. Thinking wrong as right, right as wrong. That is an error in our thinking. See, all of us, make certain notions in our life. I feel this is right. According to us, what is the definition of right and wrong? I feel this is right, I do it. This is avidya. If you have vidya, what will you say? You will say, I don't know what is right, what is wrong. So my reference, what is my reference to decide right and wrong in my life? You will say Shastra. At the end of 16th chapter, Krishna says, Yah Shastram vidhim utsrujya vartate kamakaratah na cha siddhim avapnoti na sukham na paramgatim. A person who leaves all the Shastras, never reads Patanjali Yoga Sutra, never reads Bhagavad Gita or any such, text that gives guidance to the life. And then Vartate Kamakarata, thinking himself to be very smart, very knowledgeable, makes his own notions of life. And such a person, when he lives life like that, no matter how smart he thinks of himself, what kind of efforts he does, if his basics are not right, he will neither have any siddhi, he will neither have any progress or free from suffering. Forget about the param gatim or the ultimate goal of life, which is freedom. The moksha sthiti where you are free from even the bondages of time and space. So first, this fundamental error comes, and then with this error comes the sense of me, I-ness, identifying myself only with the body and the mind becomes stronger and stronger. And the more strong it is, the more inflexible I become in my attachments and aversions. And the more inflexible I become in my attachment and aversion, the more fearful I become, because I am always fearful of whether I will get what I want or not, or whether I will be able to avoid what I do not want. So when avidya forms the base, we also have to think, how does this lead to mental illness? Say, for example, I am into my own ignorant mode. I am very attached. I am having a lot of emotions of attachment and aversion. With those emotions, what I will do is, I will break these fundamental yamas in my life. Now, these yamas are certain rules which should be followed. No, if you do not follow the yama, you go against them, you invite mental illness. Being non-violent, not only towards others, but towards oneself also. Following truthfulness in my thinking, in my action, in my speech. Non-stealing of the material property or intellectual property. Control over the senses. Do not get drawn by sex or any other major sense organ against my intellect. Knowing what is to be done, what is not to be done, but still the senses become so powerful that they make me do what I don't want to do. And aparigraha means inability to let go. You break the yama, you get so attached to people around you, you cannot share them with others, you cannot give them any freedom, or with material also there is excessive hoarding. Now, these are 5 yamas. They are the pillars of mental resilience. If you follow yama, you cannot fall ill. You will fall ill when these yamas are broken in the life. And to break this yama, you need a strong force. That force is known as vitarka. Vitarka badhane pratipaksha bhavana. Vitarka badha means what? It is the force which is going against the yama, making you break the rule. One simple example I can give you is, imagine that you are standing at the red light, traffic signal. And then before it becomes green, you take your bike and run away because you cannot wait for 120 seconds. Now here you have gone against the rule, you have broken the rule. Why? There was a certain thought process in your mind. Number one thought process was, nothing happens if you break the rule because everybody breaks it. Now this is avidya. This is making your own notion of what is right and what is wrong. And with that comes the emotion of, what if I do not reach in time? What will people think? What will happen? Devastating things will happen. So my own attachment, my own anger, my own frustration make me do an action going against that rule. This is a very simple example of day-to-day life. This has happened because fundamentally you felt that breaking the signal is a okay thing. This is known as vitarka badha, a thinking process which goes against the rules of the life and breaks it. So to counter this wrong thinking process, Patanjali recommends pratipaksha bhavana, a corrective thinking process. What is that thinking process? Patanjali says, vitarka hinsadayaha. It means that vitarka, like ahimsa is a yama, himsa is a vitarka, which is against the yama, opposite of the yama. These can happen krita, karita, anumodita. You may yourself do it, or you don't break the signal, but you tell another person, array, nothing happens, let's cross. So you are not driving, you are sitting behind, but you are promoting another person to do it. Or third is, you are silently approving of people breaking it. Okay, in these 3 ways, yamas are broken. And how they are broken? What is the fundamental error behind this vitarka badha? Even if a person develops avidya, wrong thinking thing, behind that, what is there? Patanjali says there are 3 major forces which take you against the yamas and bring more and more avidya in you. That is lobha, krodha, and moha. Now, if we introspect, dear friends, all of us, we will understand that out of these 3 emotions, one emotion may be dominant in us. You ask yourself, what is my greatest weakness? Am I a person who always wants more no matter how much I get? Then lobha is my weakness. Am I a person who is fundamentally in core an angry person, very low frustration tolerance? then krodha is your weakness. Or am I a person who gets really very easily attached and impressed with people and find it very difficult to detach myself from the things that I am attached to? Then you are a moha person. All of us who are there in the meeting, we can ask ourselves, am I a lobha personality, a krodha dominant personality, or a moha dominant personality? You will invariably get an insight about yourself, and you will suddenly become aware that this particular emotion has been destroying your life. It has been forcing you to break yamas, and by breaking those yamas, you have been continuously accumulating those karmas, those kleshas which lead to ananta dukkha ajnana phala. See, here they say that this vitarka coming from lobha, krodha, or moha, or in combination, can be mild, moderate, and severe. And what does it lead to? When you do that, it leads to suffering. Ultimately, you will end up in suffering. Your karma will be processed in such a way that one day police will catch you and you will be fined for much more than what you have done, or you will meet with an accident. This will lead to dukkha. This will lead to ajnana, more and more ignorance and avidya. Ananta phala, it will start an unending chain of suffering for you. You may be thinking nothing happens, but in creation, the software is such that it takes an account of whatever that you are doing, and it starts an unending chain of suffering. So, Patanjali is asking us, do not think that you can oversmart nature. All your karma, all your thinking patterns are noted. Therefore, become aware. Become aware of what you are doing. You are doing those things not out of your smartness. You are doing because you are being fooled by these three emotions. And no, the same, exactly the same thing Krishna also repeats in Bhagavad Gita, Trividham narakasyedam dwaram nashanam atmanaha kama krodhas tatha lobha tasmadetat tyajet. Oh Arjuna, these three are the gateways to hell. They destroy your very self. Please do not become slave of them. All these three should be abandoned in life. What are they? Kama, that is lobha, krodha, and moha. Kama means moha. So, attachment, anger, and greed. First ask yourself, what is my weakness? You should blame yourself. I am a lobha personality. Yes. First is awareness. Are you a lobha personality? Yes, I am. One should be able to accept. Yes, I am a krodha personality. I am a moha, kama personality. And then you ask, this is the emotion which has been destroying me, making me think wrong, do action in a wrong way, and justify them later on. And this is the real cause of my suffering and mental illnesses, which I am suffering from right now, or I am going to suffer in future. So, as very beautifully said by Umaji, Shobhanaji, with this emotion coming up, initially the sense organ and attachment thought come, dhyayato vishayan pumsa, sangas, attachment becomes, sangat sanjayate kama, now I want it. Initially, I just want it. Later on, I say I can't live without it. It becomes sangha. And then comes the fear of losing. And then if anybody interrupts or anything interrupts, there is krodha. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Now I am deluded. My complete jnana is gone. Now I am in avidya. Now I think whatever I am doing is correct, and I do not take shelter in any of the guidance written in the Shastras. Okay? And then clouding of the memory, smriti bhramsha, buddhi nasha. After that, the intellect gives away, and buddhi nashat pranashyati. With that, I become inhuman, animalistic, and accumulate karmas which lead to ananta dukkha and ajnana phala, and many more lives, births, karma, jati, ayu, bhoga. It starts an unending chain for me. Okay. So therefore, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Tasmat Shastram Pramanante Karya Karyo Vyavasthito Jnatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartu Miharhasi. O Arjuna, Shastra should be your Pramana. Anybody who tells you, hey, do this, then you should ask him, give me one shloka from Bhagavad Gita or Patanjali Yoga Sutra that justifies this, I will do it. If you cannot give me any reference, please don't give me any jnana. Let me decide by myself. There are many such people who become gurus and teachers, but they cannot give you a single reference of what they are talking. So all of you who take guidance of such people in your life, my request to all of you is make sure that you cross-check what they are saying by at least some reference coming from Shastras. Then only, this is the way you will actually identify a true guru also in your life. So Katha Upanishad gives this very beautiful example of the chariot. I like this example because it really, shows us that how the whole human body is like a chariot. These 5 horses, which are very powerful, they have horsepower. They are the sense organs. And this fellow, who is the intellect, is trying to control these horses through the manas. And then there is this rider who is all knowing, all pervading, who is sitting behind. Now, the whole journey of life is that these horses, if they are not controlled, if the rider is not skillful, then greed, attachment, and anger empower these horses, and they increase the speed of emotions, making the horses of the senses go out of control. See, if the speed of your vehicle increases, the more the speed, the more are the chances that you will break the rule or meet with an accident. So these emotions make the thinking process, the emotion faster and faster in you. That empowers the sense-driven life more and more because your intellect is clouded. So the senses only become the guiding force. And then you break the yama like you break the traffic rule and keep on making accidents in your life day in and day out. And you do not know that there is a camera watching and keeping an account. And suddenly one day you receive a bill of 1 lakh and you wonder, when did you do that? Why are you suffering in your life so much? But every day, small fines keep accumulating in our karma bank. So therefore, this fellow, the intellect, a skillful driver knows the art of slowing down and putting brakes when required. When red light is there, I stop. When there is a speed breaker, I stop. He draws the strength and direction from the rider. Where does he draw the strength from? By using tools of yoga, jnana yoga, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raj yoga. He keeps on looking towards the rider, never forgets that there is a rider behind watching everything, keeping a camera on all the time. He remains aware of that rider. I am being watched. Every action of what I am doing, what I am thinking is noted. And there is no freedom from it. Only way out of it is avoid it, prevent it from happening. And therefore, skillfully becoming aware of where his life is going, he reaches his goal by guiding the horses with tivra gati actually towards abhyasa, towards vairagya, and towards not breaking the yamas in life ever. Then very smooth rider even can go faster but never meets with an accident because he always is very clear where he is going, why he is going, with how much speed he is going. So dear friends, I request all of you to please contemplate on these thoughts and prevent yourself from getting into mental illnesses by holding on to yamas in your life and making shastras as your guides. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Preeti ji, please ask your question.